Every time this thing love to be crooked on my damn head. I may as well take this off. It's all falling off just for this. Good evening. And yes, I wanted to come on here tonight because, I need to change up my timing. Just trying to see something real fast. So, good evening. I just want to let all my best buds know that I had to switch up my program just a little bit. And it's unfortunate. And literally, if I had the energy and the patience and the time to, I wouldn't, and I would just keep going. But there's something about putting out content, knowing that it's not reaching your authentic crowd, it's going to a bunch of haters that's contributing to your demise. And for example, um, the other day I got on TikTok Live, and I'm starting to sell things on live, and I didn't realize that. Well, I kind of knew that I'm being tracked across all my platforms. So when I do get on live, I still try to, you know, um, just talk and just continue to flow. I don't let nobody sitting in my seats stop me because I know somebody's watching, and you never know who's watching. So I still continue to perform and everything. But what winds up happening is you'll have people that's just there to steal your ideas and do all this stuff. So what happens on my live consistently, especially TikTok, because the algorithm is so sensitive that these people can what's happening. Okay, and this is what I want everybody to know, whoever is getting gang stalked, but we're calling it different terms now. Whoever is being targeted by a group of organized criminals, whoever's being harassed, I want you to understand that TikTok's algorithm sucks when it comes to that. You can literally be on there. Like, I was on my TikTok, and first of all, I know I had this crowd. I'm talking to them about the bread machine. Now, I know that bread machine has been on the market for like 26 goddamn weeks. Every person, every content creator across TikTok would make the bread so focused on adding the ingredients and stuff that when they finish, they would just pop out a big overgrown muffin of bread, like a big loaf, and be like, "Yeah, I'm making my bread," and that's that. I got on my TikTok and I started, selling the bread machine and talking about how I'm going to slice it and how everybody has the bread machine. They don't never sell a slicer or whatever. Now everybody on TikTok is running around, like the last couple of big creators I've seen got sliced bread now. This is what I mean about, authenticity. And I'll be damned if I continue to talk to people that's just there to take my ideas. I'll be damned if I continue to entertain people that's weird, monitoring spirits that's, here to harass me, degrade me, do any of these things. So until the forces start to work in my court, I have to continue to educate people about what's going on with me. Now, the crazy thing is, this group of harassers that's going around from platform to platform with the two culprits, I already know who's involved, right? So if there was ever an investigation, I know two people that's involved. But once those two people, get pimped up, I'm pretty sure they're going to tell on everybody else. So long as I got the proof for that, that's it. I don't give a fuck if it's 1,000 people. Once one person start to talk, everybody gonna start talking. Which is why the one person is here looking at what I gotta say, because they probably waiting for me to say something, and so that they can record. These people are pathetic. So what is happening is I'm going, on my platform, letting my community know what's happening, why I'm on live, and then my live's getting banned and this, that. These harassers are literally harassing me, and they are going around reporting every fucking thing, like especially on the bullshit ass TikTok algorithm where you can report and tell exactly what's happening to you. and they're reporting it as false news and all of this shit. So at the end of the day, really all I got for me when it comes to letting people know is YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, because at least the videos stay up. At least they can flag and talk about bullying shit, da 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 da. They're like, that's why it's like, what is TikTok doing? So the other day I started reading this book on TikTok Live, and when I didn't even make it out of the introduction, my shit was suspended. You could tell, like, as I'm reading, people just starting to sweat because they must have been just up there spamming. But it goes to show me around the clock how much these people watch me. The one person that keep on popping in and out of here, I would not be surprised if it's one of them. Now I changed my time up. These people normally get up early, bright in the morning, getting on my page, doing whatever they doing. Now I'm in the evening. So I expect nothing. If they're not watching me as much as they say, then I should not see anything coming from them. Okay. And it probably, if they are watching and they need to prove to me that they aren't, it's probably hurting them like shit to not say anything because they so invested for some reason. So I'm gonna start to read the handbook after I finish this. Give me 1 second. So many people probably ask, why do I care? Why do I keep defending my own platform? Why shouldn't I? Why should I allow people to run me off of my platform? Why should I just be like, oh well, I'm just gonna hang up all my dreams because people wanna no. So what I'm gonna do is let you guys know how these people get away. It makes sense. And we might not be able to go over the whole book. It's 33 pages in this handbook, but I'm going to read as much as I can and break this up in parts, okay? So I'm going to read the introduction. I'm just going to jump right in. The introduction is: the phenomenon of state sponsored terrorism is nothing new and has been orchestrated by the architects of destruction. The hidden hand of Judeo Freemasonry since the immemorial, imposing trauma based mind control on the common folk, is the mechanism of power relied upon to maintain power, mind control, and world control. The shadow government of the cabal is compromised is comprised of Jews, a biological mongrel race bound up with entities which control them, and their shabos, goyism, meaning stupid animals in Yiddish, referring to the non-Jewish tools they exploit to absorb total power for themselves. The cabal has been in existence for thousands of years and is poised for the realization of their plans for global domination and enslavement of all to their despotic will as of the time of this writing. This handbook treats of the foremost particular. This is what I don't like. When this is the first handbook that has actually had ads to come up. This handbook treats of the foremost particular means employed in the manipulation of the common folk beyond that of chemtrails, electromagnetic field broadcasts from cell towers, and other arrays, the poisoned food GMOs, and water supply, chlorine, fluoride, and estrogenic substances in synthetic chemicals, coerced taxation and wage slavery, media and education indoctrination, system propaganda, and mind control, among other tectronic control mechanisms. Now, these are all the mechanisms that literally they use on the majority of people. This is the masses or mass productive industries using this on the majority of the people, on the masses. But then you have groups called organized gangs, cults, covens, whatever you want to call them. But it's organized groups of networks of people that go around and target individuals. Now, the cabal has allegiance towards itself alone and to the entities which control it. The society engineered and controlled by the cabal is structured as a trapezoidal geometrical figure in terms of power share. Jews are at the top of the trapezoid in the physical dimension, with Freemasons and other illuminist groups subordinate. Under the controlling elite, the population is divided into rival camps based upon occulted practices of polarity, masculine right wing and feminine left wing. The whole of the system of the Judeo Masonic theocracy operates in sorcery, and then it is going to another freaking commercial or whatever you want to call it. Stupid. Okay, where was I? In secrecy and in hierarchically compartmentalized with advancement or demotion based upon the degree of loyalty given to the cabal and the use value of the individual thereto. The loyalty entails an agenda of endeavoring to eliminate, to genocide the white race as the greatest threat to the world, rule of the cabal as those of pure blood, the white race, listen to the call of the blood memory and are not willing to sell out to the cabal for self-serving ends to as great an extent as other groups, as the white race intuitively understands the difference between good harmony and evil cacophony, and what is harmonious is the preservation of the organism of which one is a part, the racial soul. Now, that to me sounded like it was written in some type of occultic verbiage that literally those types of people understand. But what I can kind of collect from this sounds like the white race, it does not want to face genocide. And so through preservation, it has dedicated itself through worshiping the cabal and keeping their blood pure, which any other race who aligns with that white race ideology and worships the cabal is also in alignment with self-serving preservation. So therefore, there's many different races involved in this type of group organization thing. All right, so we're gonna keep going. This is the part that I was, my live was stopped right away. It was slashed. It was slashed. So it is the wish of the author and compiler that this handbook be spread as widely and effectively as possible, reaching the reachable and those who will take action so that the crimes of the cabal will be exposed and ultimately the balance of justice they have upset rectified. The individual's gang stalking and directed energy weapons, identifying what they are, how they are used, by whom and why. Either this information will get out and the cabal will be exposed and overthrown through effective necessary action, or there will be no future for this world. This handbook is designed to be contribution to the overthrow. Spread it. It is an arrow in the black hearts of the architects of destruction, which is the reason why my whole TikTok live was shut down. But this one will not get shut down. And not only that, this one will stay up and can be replayed. Okay. So what and why? That's the first thing I want to know. Like, what is the intentions behind these people stalking me, harassing me? Who am I? Like, why am I that important that these weirdos is spending this much time, putting this much energy and investment into my life? Well, Organized stalking is a well organized occult form of covert harassment used against an individual. It is done by large groups of people who systematically and repeatedly harass individuals. This has also been called cause stalking, gang stalking, community based harassment, organized vigilante stalking. Here we go with the vengeance stalking, terrorist stalking, vengeance stalking, covert action, state sponsored harassment, microwave harassment, microwave mind control, etc. All of these labels explain the same basic phenomenon: rich state sponsored terror campaigns, the hidden evil. Mobbing, also referred to by some as bullying, psychological terrorism, and organizational violence, is described as a collective form of psychological violence in which many individuals unite to prosecute an individual. Mobbing is a way of destroying a person without using any physical means. Degrading things are often used to try to prevent people from coming toward or coming forward. Thank you for the like. Operations are designed to intimidate and destabilize targeted individuals. Terms for that is TIS for short, by subjecting them to repeated disappointment and to socially alienate them by interfering with and disrupting their relationships with others, as in social undermining. The aim was to induce personal crisis in victims, leaving them too unnerved and psychologically distressed to have the time and energy for anti government activism. So, if you guys have listened to some of the things that I was saying about how I'll go to work with some people and then, like, after that, they switch up, is like their energy change. This is exactly what I was experiencing, that operation thing. It talks about the direct energy weapons, but this is just the first this is just the introduction, so it does go into that. Thank you. Solar flare today, 3M class flares last few days, warfare is intense. Definitely, I had some people showing up, and the crazy thing is I didn't even come on YouTube earlier today, and my stalkers and harassers came to find me on TikTok. So, I chilled today. I got my rest today. The tornado, I was going to let it do its thing across Mother Nature. Whatever happens, happens. But I knew that I needed to ground myself and stay in my own zone. So I protected my energy. And by you saying a solar flare makes sense as to why Dr. Doolittle or Harry Potter came up on my page today. Because every time there's a full moon or something, this is when they do their magic, okay? So this operation is exactly what's happening to me, which is why you might see me work partner up with someone. Some people I've blocked because I noticed they were informants, but others, their energy change. And for me, I'm not a person that's gonna be like, "What happened? What's wrong? Kiss ass," or I'm just gonna let a person go where they go. All right, so what we are seeing now is a globally coordinated and organized effort of control and conformity. Many countries around the world are currently using a model of policing called community oriented policing, which is crazy because, like, maybe a couple years back, I remember reading some news articles and they were saying that they were going to come out with a program where civilians would be able to police each other. Maybe this program been in place and it's something else. So organized stalking is a form of terrorism used against an individual in a malicious attempt to reduce the quality of a person's life so they, oh, come on with the ads. I'm gonna have to just subscribe to this to get my free trial because I'm sick of this shit. All right. Attempted to reduce the person's quality of life so they will have a nervous breakdown, become imprisoned, institutionalized, experience constant mental, emotional, or physical pain, become homeless, and or commit suicide. This is done using well orchestrated accusations, lies, rumors, bogus investigations, setups, framings, intimidation, overt or covert threats, vandalism, thefts, sabotage, torture, humiliation, emotional terror, and general harassment. It is a ganging up by members of the community who follow an organized method and participate in a systematic terrorizing of an individual. And this happened to me and my son. I could definitely say, and it makes me wonder, like, the family, like, I just remember being told, why you always acting like a victim, girl? You so dramatic, you like, and I was like, things are happening to me, why can't I express that? Like, wow. What are the goals of gang stalking? The usual goal is to isolate the target from all forms of support so that the target can be set up in the future for arrest, institutionalization, or forced suicide. Now, if you go and look at all of my YouTube, the people around me have wanted me to be isolated, especially like when I first went around my mom and my other sister, they told me Fonte used like every time they would have parties or my mother birthday parties, she'd be like, don't invite Shauna, don't invite her. And yeah, like it was, I was definitely being isolated like way back then. And it's crazy because it seemed like, it all went through my friends because I remember like I was living in the projects. The last parties I threw was lit. Like people from middle school was coming. And it was like after that, when that whole combination of people got together, everything just fizzled out. Like me and my friends, started falling apart. Like people I knew from middle school, and I'm 20 something now. So for me to have friends from middle school, that had to let you know I had to have some good qualities, but then things just started falling apart. And I was going through things, as a teenager when we got into high school that some of my middle school friends didn't understand, and they was getting mad at me because of the shit I'm going through and how I responded to it. Something they would never understand and they never probably went through. So it was things like that that happened to me. But wow. What are the goals of the gang stalking? The usual goal is to isolate. Okay, yeah, so they can later on, because right now I feel like I'm supposed to be either crazy or probably somebody probably killed me, or I committed suicide. Those are the things, or I'm OD'd off of something like a crackhead or something. Like all the things I'm telling you that I went through, you would literally. So I know a lot of y'all would have not made it to be here where I am today. A lot of y'all, even the people that's coming against me every day in this group, would not be able to go have went through the same thing without being on a substance, having a major transition and look, like, and I mean decline of transition and look, like a major weight gain or teeth falling out or something, like hair bald spots. You would be fucked up if you went through what I went through for over the extent of years that I went through it by myself. And then everybody met in between was like monsters. So this is called the Sikul Memukad. In Hebrew, it's called targeted killing. So as soon as I get to that, now the ad is coming. It's so annoying. I know the devil is probably working through these 10 fucking 5-second ads for like a minute. Okay, so again, this is called when they seclude you in order to get you, you know, targeted, isolated. They want you institutionalized or whatever. This is called sickle memukad, and it's in Hebrew for targeted killing. The Zertsetzung, the Zertsetzung decomposition in German of individuals was usually carried out by systematically undermining the target's quality of life, both socially and in the workplace, with the intention of simply destroying the target's confidence. The tactics used took various forms, such as spreading slanderous rumors, causing trouble at work, etc. That was happening to me. Organized harassment is a form of fourth generation warfare in a form of political information warfare waged against civilians by a state or other entity. It utilizes civilians and the military, indeed all of society, to target civilian adversaries, aka domestic state enemies, insurgents, extremists, non state actors, cells of fanatics, citizen terrorists who value national sovereignty and or who pose some perceived threat to the state's interests. So people, the state wants the new world order. I want freedom. I've been on that. And not only that, within my own state, I want freedom. And I never knew I had people around me that ain't got shit to do with me, that what I eat don't make them shit, but they so invested in my life and my freedom that they trying to impose some type of restrictions on me. So yeah, it's happening to me double time in a big world and in my life, my individual life. Um, this never-ending system, harassment, influence, and manipulation of the targeted individual is specifically designed to control the target with the aim of keeping them in line or the destruction of their soul. Now, thank God I'm connected to the Most High. That's where I get my life, my power, my vitality from. Is not from none of you people. Thank goodness. Okay. Now, the long term objectives of these harassment and experimentation campaigns appear to be quite fundamental. And is number one, induce a sense of perverted loyalty toward the very agencies engaged in the individual's harassment, which, somebody keep going to the police and the police involved, something like that. Redirect the targeted individual's feelings of hopelessness and anger and frustration toward racial and ethnic groups, which is why once I started to say, hey, Fonte and Dante, I started getting, Islamic shit. People talk about Iranians and then Hispanics, that so I can focus on one group of people when I know it's a mixture of people. Also, how they would talk to me, they would fuck you, bitch, and you did this, and then get out of Baltimore, yo. Like, how you gonna fuss and try to talk to me like we friends in the same sentence? Like, I pick up that, to me does not like change my mind set. What it does is it makes me, it's like I read it. It's like my mind is like a radar for bullshit, and it just triggers that part of my mind, not the fact that it's going to make me go down a slippery slope or whatever. Um, here we go. Yo, I think the better the books and the articles, the more these stupid fucking ads want to come up. Okay. Number three, force the individual to commit an act of violence, whether suicide or murder, under conditions which can be plausibly denied by the government. Microwave harassment and mind control experimentation. Julianne McKinney, Director, Electronic Surveillance Projects, Association of National Security Alumni. So this is, one of the reasons I shared that post about Sammy, regardless of what the true story is. I don't know Sammy's story, mom, whatever. I just know what he posted on the Shannon or who was it? Colin Kaepernick, or whatever the guy's name is with the hat, his show or whatever. Um, and his mom ended her basic freedom with violence. And that's what I feel like. It pushes you to that point. Like, you literally, and this is why I'm like, I'm being relentless when it comes to letting people know what's going on, because all of this stuff is tied to everything that's going on in my life, right? That has been going on with my son's death and everything. And I'm over it. Like, I'm going through so much and it's just piled up. Like, you don't even understand. So these people, that love to impose all this energetic pressure on a person, yo, they were these bitches. Like, that. This is why sometimes I just use the words that I use, because it stops me from having to take action the way you want to. But you understand that you're dealing with some soft boned bitches. Like, they weak as fuck. They would never be able. They fucking what you call that, sardine boned ass motherfuckers. Like, would never be able to take the pressure that they impose on other people. But they know how to put that shit on other people. Never be able to, especially dealing with it by themselves. This is why they probably on substances and ain't even going through half the shit that somebody like me going through. Nobody understands it. Nobody want to ask questions. But guess what? I'm gonna put the information out regardless, whether you want it or not. So, and it's going to keep coming as long as I keep getting harassed. Everybody gonna know. Ain't gonna be no excuse as to y'all don't know what's happening. You ain't gonna know. Whatever. All right. So the objective of the campaign. Where was I at? Do, 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 do. Yep, is to separate a person from friends, family, keep them unemployed, induce homelessness, and reduce the quality of life so much that they suffer a nervous breakdown, cause them to commit suicide, or end up medicated, incarcerated, or institutionalized. Because the government, I mean, that's going to line their pockets. It's a win win. Our kingdom will be an apologia of the divinity Vishnu, in whom is found its personification. In our 100 hands will be, one in each, the springs of machinery of social life. We shall see everything without the aid of official police, which in that scope of its rights, which we elaborated for the use of the Goyim, hinders governments from seeing in our programs. One-third of our subjects will keep the rest under observation from a sense of duty on the principle of volunteer to the state. It will then be no disgrace to be a spy and informer, but a merit. Unfounded denunciations, however, will be cruelly punished, that there may be no development of abuses of this right. So it's crazy. It takes 1/3 of the population to control the whole population, because they inform us to the state. Our agents will be taken from the higher as well as the lower ranks of society, from among the administrative classes. And this is exactly why I said, when you see them people that's dressing home as them white men all over TikTok talk about, yeah, I was at the church and I was being gang stalked, like, that is a fucking fish hook right there. They trying to hook some fish and get more people. So they will take agents from higher rank and lower class society who spend their time in amusements, editors, printers and publishers, booksellers, clerks and salesmen, workmen, coachmen, lackeys, etc., etc. This body, having no rights and not being empowered to take any action on their own account, and consequently a police without any power, will only witness and report. Verifications of their reports and arrests will depend upon a responsible group of controllers of police affairs, while the actual act of arrest will be performed by the gendarmerie and municipal police. Any person not denouncing anything seen or heard concerning questions of polity will also be charged with and made responsible for concealment, if it be proved that he is guilty of this crime. And so basically, they create a hierarchy. Like, one police doesn't do it. It's a chain that does the actions. There's a chain of them, of people in the hierarchy, that will create an action that will ultimately render the consequence to the victim. Just as nowadays our brethren are obligated at their own risk to denounce to the Kahal apostates of their own family or members who have been noticed doing anything in opposition to the Kahal. So in our kingdom over all the world, it will be obligatory for all our subjects to observe the duty of service to the state in this direction. So basically, they want everybody on this dumb weird shit. Basically, all right, we're about to read the next page after this. Okay, so three stages of Zertazung. Remember, Zertazung was decomposition. Okay. The terrorist protocol of the hidden hand. So, one, targeting, investigation, and surveillance. Two, gang stalking. And then three, electronic harassment, direct energy weapons, aka DEW. So, that's what Truth Rises was talking about, the direct energy weapons. So, yes, we will talk about that. I'm going to read right on to that. So let's start with targeting. Targeting begins with surveillance so that a person's personality traits can be cataloged. Targets are constantly monitored, and if a target responds emotionally to a particular trigger, that will be built into the protocol. And this is what we learned yesterday in the court case that Collins had wrote up. So this is a whole nother account saying the same thing, that first they surveil you, they watch you and see what triggers you. From there, it progresses to investigation. The bogus investigation appears to be the platform used to launch the smear campaign and remove a person's support structure. The person who organized these harassment programs will try to assassinate your character. They will carry a case file on you that they will use for character assassination to gain community support. And that's where I think really my family came involved, because all the time, like somebody be like, "Oh, girl, you bougie." Then somebody be like, "No, she is ghetto. She is ghetto. She is a fun." Like I could, it, people. It was my family, literally, my family, and that helped to shape like how their friends treated me, how they respected me. People, even on my pages, like I'm on my pages doing my thing. Fonte and Dante so invested in my life, like even when they was here, they coming on my pages, starting debates on my pages. Like the post ain't is not tagged to y'all, so why y'all so invested? So yeah, that shit was somebody in my family is in this. Um, targeted. Okay, so what else? From there, it progresses to the investigation. So the bogus investigation appears to be the platform. Da, da, da. The person who organizes these harassment programs will try to assassinate your character. They will carry a case file on you that they will use for character assassination and gain support, community support. Then there's surveillance and investigation. They will set up a base of operation in your neighborhood to conduct surveillance. They will sublet, lease, rent property above, below, or to the sides of your living space to do this. Money is no object as they have an unlimited budget. Half truths, setups, and outright lies will be used. If you are an organized vigilante stalking target, the investigation is not a means to an end, it is an end unto itself. Gang stalking begins the targeted individual may at first be placed under covert forms of surveillance. The person will probably be monitored 24/7. Foot patrols and vehicle patrols may be used to follow the individual, as well as electronic means as part of the monitoring psychological profiling process. Once the psychological profile is complete, the gang stalking can commence. So Zetz is Zersetzung, the East German secret police methodology of psychological decomposition. The first state of Zersetzung was an evaluation of all state held data and information, e.g., medical records, school reports, police reports, intelligence reports. Just a brief moment here. I was at the reports part, intelligence reports, foot patrols, searches of targets, residents. Yep, that's what's happening. At this point, they were looking for any weak points, social, emotional, or physical, that could be used as a way to put pressure on the target. That could be used to socially isolate them. The group will be watching your home from their bases of operation using triangulation, devices such as radar flashes and millimeter wave devices, like the ones used at airports, may be used as such as the Life Assessment Detector System, LADS. It has range of about 135 feet, can detect heartbeat and respiration, and can also be configured to track a specific person's movement inside a building. Both community based agents, CBA, visual surveillance, and advanced electronic surveillance are used. Gang stalking. Once the psychological profile is complete, the gang stalking can commence. Gang stalking generally originates from when a covert investigation is open on an individual and teams of plainclothes police officers, citizen informants, snitches, and snoopers are deployed to obsessively harass the targeted individual, usually to an extreme degree. The Zersetzung, the East German secret police methodology of psychological decomposition. Wow. If they got all this time to do this shit, like how do you grow into this? Like, but you notice it says snitches and all that. They had to stop snitching movement. All of those snitches was probably all agents the whole time. And the stop snitching movement was just a way to get more snitches. I don't know. Okay, so the next stage was often to supplement covert surveillance and overt observation in order to communicate to the target that they were of interest to the Stasi and to create a sense of insecurity and paranoia. So the gang stalking, organized stalking, or mobbing protocol targets both the person and their property, as well as those the cabal believes they care for, as a means of harming the targeted individual. So my son passing away, when I first moved here, rats in my yard, fucking up my garden, shit like that. Just doing a lot of shit like that. Fucking with my trash even still. The following section covers examples of particular tactics employed and the desired effect of the perpetrators, though it is by no means exhaustive. Property thefts and break ins. Thefts may be reduced to a small, inexpensive item, but some targets have reported jewelry, passports, and other important items stolen. There is usually no sign of forced entry. This is done to let you know that they've been in your home. These cults are obsessed with all aspects of a targeted person's life. Personal items may be passed around to group members and are apparently symbolic of the control of the group has over their target. Rich state sponsored terror campaigns. Sabotage and vandalism. This happens at home and in the workplace. Electronic equipment may constantly be failing. This may be accomplished with the e-bomber or similar device, or your battery low all the time when you're trying to, yep, your shit always full when you're trying to do something like this may be accomplished with the e-bomb or a similar device. Protects projects you've worked the projects you've worked on the previous day may become broken. Many times this vandalism is usually just below what you've reported to the police. Where the target owns substantial land, noxious activities can be arranged and built for next to the property. In one case, a dump, an auto racetrack, and a prison were built adjacent to a target who owned a large farm in an area of natural beauty. While this is rare, it does illustrate commitment to delivering punishment to those deserving it. While this is not necessarily property damage, it is destruction of the right to the quiet enjoyment of the premises and to the market value of the property, thus harming the targeted individual indirectly, as with most of the gang stalking protocols. Person. The assault against the person is, of course, the ultimate purpose of the hidden ban. The cabal targets the person economically, legally, socially, physically, and most importantly, so psycho spiritually. All of the which specific forms of assault are interpenetrating, given that the person is a multidimensional being whose sphere of influence participate in these spheres. The following amplifies upon how the person, the target, is affected in these ways. So, blacklisting, and this is what you see happen to a lot of celebrities. Gang stalking groups will interfere with every personal and business relationship you have. And they definitely interfere in my life, in my business, in my jobs that I've had. Trust and believe that shit. This seem like pathetic ass group of people. Like this is not powerful. Just scrap. Like y'all beefing out, y'all doing all of that. Yo, like job opportunities will be trashed. They get paid to make sure that you don't. Most targeted people are unemployed. Bank accounts may be shut down or sabotaged through white collar crime. Online transactions may be obstructed from other financial mediums or major or minor sellers. Attempting to sell or buy on the internet will also be obstructed through sharp practices or prevented from occurring by the perpetrators. Should one attempt to sell real estate, he will lose on the value, as with other sales, as the cabal has a monopoly on the real estate industry profession. Also, any other commodity of negotiable value is subject to loss of its value if sold for the same reason: bullion, collectibles, etc. Legal sabotage. Reporting things to the police should adhere to the extensive protocols and advice outlined in Information Handling in the Fight to Expose and Stop the Crime of Organized Stalking and Electronic Harassment. In brief, one should avoid dealing with police. The cabal utilizes police, both plainclothes and undercover, in their OSEH campaign against targeted individuals. And they are, perhaps with some exceptions involved to varying degrees, the higher up in the hierarchy they are, the more compromised and more corrupt they are. Wait a minute. The higher up in the hierarchy they are, the more compromised and the more corrupt they are. Officers of the rank of sergeant and above are invariably Freemasons, who are the Shabos or the Goets, which was the, what that say, the animal something in Yiddish. Here we go with this damn ad shit. Hence, they cannot be trusted. Sergeants, y'all. Police work with private security professionals, locksmiths, and alarm system companies, as well as private security guards and their managers, to spy on and break and enter into targeted individuals' residences for harassment and sabotage purposes. The legal system being under the control of the cabal, a Noahide Talmudic court, which has supplanted the common law, employs lawyers and judges who will seek to railroad anyone they can frame as having violated their laws or bylaws through the system and give them the heaviest penalties they are available. Advice: trust no member of the legal profession, as they are almost universally compromised and are either Jews or Freemasons or Judeo Christians. They are the cabal, along with all other bureaucrats and organizations, private or public, that all work together in their communitarian spy society system. Social sabotage. Some tactics used to keep you blacklisted include interfering with communications and slander. Also, there are lists and software packages used to check these lists for suspected terrorists, threats to national security, etc. Apparently, this is a flourishing business, and some organizations are required by law to use it. So it's a list going around. I wonder why it's not a public list. Hmm. Since they have federal connections, they do have the ability to frame a targeted person for crimes out in public as well, using informants. Any weakness a person has can be used in one of these setups. A person may not be aware of some of these setups, but they may be added to a case file to assist with the smear campaign. They may try to provoke a confrontation when mobbing you out in public. Group members also try to entice the target to assault them, but this is never done without having witnesses present. The criminal conviction of the target, following the testimony of numerous concerned citizens, can be followed by a civil lawsuit. Pedophilia is one common lie used to bring neighbors, co-workers, community members, and in some cases, even family members into the 24/7 harassment. In the gang stalking protocol, the attempt to frame the targeted individuals employed through the perps following the targeted individuals around, presumably through GPS if the targeted individual is implanted with a chip, or through maintaining a continuous visual by pedestrian and driver perps, as well as residents being given notification via text or alerts on their cell phones that the targeted individual is approaching and that they should begin a noise campaign to harass the targeted individual when he is in range. They often deliberately involve children and women with baby strollers and babies to have them intercept the targeted individual while the latter is walking along a route. Yo, how many times did I get up here and say, the next time a bitch hit me with her stroller, when I'm just scanning my shit, ain't nobody even worried about y'all. My back is to you, and bitch, you hit me with a stroller. I'm gonna turn around and knock the shit out of you. This is, I mean, I'm just saying what I'm experiencing, but at the end of the day, this is everything that I've been posting, and I'm just listening to my spirit say post this shit because it's just starting to increase. I know this been going on for a long time, way before now, but it's starting to increase. So with the intensity of it, I've been posting for over a year about this shit. And when I tell you, yo, this everything that I'm reading about is crazy. So where was it at with the stroller? They deliberately involve children and women with strollers. Okay. To go along with the campaign and attempt to escalate the harassment of the targeted individual. Once adequate evidence is gleaned of the targeted individual in the context of women and children, he or she may eventually have trumped up charges brought against himself to involve him in legal trouble, charged with pedophilia or put on a watch list. Should he be in jail, he may be executed by prisoners there or even by vigilantes in his community. They will also prevent him from gaining employment owing to the notoriety of his constructed identity, constructed by the cabal. Once the target's reputation is irreparably damaged through smear campaigns and rumor mongering, he can then be further subject to punishment by the cabal and its agents. And if he complains, No one will ascribe value or truth to his claims. So that's exactly what has been happening to me. Like so much smear has been happening. I have, by me not even noticing that has been going on, I guess people would rather hate me. Like, first of all, you got to understand the heart of most people. Most people are not solid people on social media that you hang around. Like, out of 1,000 people, it's probably going to be five solid people out of that 1,000 people. I swear. So when other people hear shit about you, they would rather fucking listen to it and let their imagination go with the smear because it makes them feel better, or they always wanted to think that about you or whatever, whatever, than to come and check. And I tell you, like you can, I go on live all the time and put ask questions. Nobody asks a bitch ass thing, but I got people believing and probably talking on my name and don't know the first. They haven't knew me since I was in my 20s. Last time somebody knew me 5, 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But yet they got a mouthful to say about me and can't ask for questions for clarity. Like, come the fuck on, man. That's exactly why I don't have a problem with leaving a bitch where they stand at, because nobody is solid these days, and I can tell because all of this shit going on around me, all these people knew about it. I'm just like, why is everybody acting so weird? I see the shit, but apparently everybody else, they love to ride the wave, the hate train. That's why, you know what? That's why I keep showing up for real for myself. I do it for myself. I do it for myself and for my motherfucking son. Okay. And I'm gonna keep showing up. So I don't give a fuck if it's a million haters. And this is the reason why the million haters is trying to get people to hate me before they even know me. Y'all is whack and weak, and you know what? My true colors is going to show way beyond all this murky ass hate. That's why I'm just continuing. Now I'm educated. Now I gotta put it. Y'all just making me be more creative with the shit. So all that low self esteem and all that shit. Them days is over. That shit is turned back on y'all actually. So let me finish reading. Here we go with this bullshit. Come on. All right. All right. Yeah. So now, once the TI's reputation is irreparably damaged due to smear campaigns and rumor mongering, he can then be further subjugated to punishments and blah, blah, blah. Now, additionally, targets may receive unsolicited emails that parallels a current event in your life. You may receive covert insults and threats or job applications, or like, I mean, completed job applications, like people trying to interview you, people trying to act like you gay and trying to all types of shit. Your email may be blocked or filtered. Oh, you, and also cloud emails saying that you owe a balance and all this, trying to get you to click links and shit. They broke too. Your email may be blocked or filtered, and your web activity may be monitored. If you try to participate in an online discussions group, online dating, it is very possible you will be interrupted, trashed, or harassed. This can be done by a combination of paid civilian contractors, operatives, provocateurs, and email filtering. Should one encounter any others through daily life, those he encounters may very well be gang stalkers, perps themselves, who are seeking to either gather information on the person or who are seeking to set him up somehow. What you say? Oh, that's why I can tell the energy of a perpetrator or somebody that's trying to be around me to gain information. Assassination via poisoning or other means, rape, planting. It ain't this many motherfucking ads in the world. Mm-hmm. Um, Where we are, we can just go right in the basement. Where was saying planting rate, planting evidence on the person for a subsequent police investigation or raid instigated by others. Planting evidence on the person. Oh, aka swatting, calling the police with false accusations. This may be the case even after prolonged contact with the person who befriends the targeted individual, as they may be a deep cover agent. Also, the friend may be simply playing the role to the subject to subject the targeted individual to gaslighting and other forms of implicit abuse to wear away their sense of self-worth or to encourage them in vice such as faggotry or other deviant sex practices or drugs. That's exactly why I can sense when a motherfucker fake. Use your discernment, boo. Anything that can be made to set the person up, sully their reputation, and escalate their demise in the most cruel and traumatic way. Physical sabotage. The use of direct energy weapons creates both acute and chronic pain, as well as the destructive of the physical body. The perps may poison the targeted individual's food, not only in their residence, but that which exists in the store prior to their purchasing it. This utilizes advanced technology of synthetic telepathy, B2K, discussed below. Poison gas, here we go. Poison gas may be pumped into their residence via whatever intake vent, or the perps may simply drill a hole into the wall of the residence and pump it with the targeted individual sleeps with nitric oxide or other forms of gas. Harming, torturing, and or killing the animals under the care of the targeted individual or those the targeted individual is suspected of caring for. Doctors, nurses, and other professionals will abuse their powers to visit harm on the targeted individual with vaccines, needless surgeries that will be botched deliberately in some way. Pharmaceuticals will be prescribed, if possibly coercively through threat of physical force to ensure compliance. Other harmful procedures will be prescribed, and effective natural healing modalities will be omitted to be mentioned or will be discouraged. Noise campaigns. Noise must be a type of wave which the general public deems normal. Remember that the goal is to have the target aware that they are being punished, but not be able to convince anyone else that that is the case. Observe local noise curfews, but plenty of punishment can occur outside noise curfews. The target must not have easy cause to involve law enforcement. So, loud music from neighboring home, frequent squealing of tires near target's home, frequent drilling into a scrap of wood or masonry held against the target's wall, floor, or ceiling as if working, alternatively hammering, frequent use of sirens near the target's home. Every night is an ambulance. I told y'all a couple times. My neighbors sound like they had an industrial drill, like that they was drilling in the ground. Like the shit was shaking my soul. Now the little Hispanic boys with the tires and all that. Now somebody with the music across the street. Yes, they doing all of this shit. Mm-mm-mm. Where was I? Basically, there will be a steady stream of noise consisting of a rotation of various types of disturbances around your house. This noise may even follow you wherever you go. This includes car doors slamming, people coming, going, people yelling, cars alarms, horns, tires screeching, banging, engines revving, cars beeping, constant construction, lawn mowers, snow blowers, etc. Your neighbors will probably be bribed with free home repairs. that will result in a very noisy construction process. Chronic exposure to even low level noise is considered a hazard that has been known to produce adverse psychological and physiological health effects. Prolonged exposure to noise can produce high blood pressure, a rise in cholesterol, damage to the circulatory, cardiovascular, gastrointestinal, and musculoskeletal systems. The synchronization. Your movements will be synchronized with noise, vehicles coming or going, people coming or going, or other movements. These synchronization tactics are oftentimes done several times, perhaps three or more. Collisions and cutoffs. They can happen with vehicles on foot or in a combination. This type of space invasion is designed to startle you and create tension. It can be thought of as a virtual slap. They are used in blind areas such as corners, hallways, restrooms, or intersections where you constantly have to. Ugh. But again, this is why I started my paid actors um, videos, because I notice the shit in traffic. And this is when, people come on there calling me niggers and all types of things and this and that, like mad as hell. This is how I know they connect. All of this stuff is connected because they be mad as hell when I talk about my son and mad as hell when I talk about that traffic and how I'm exposing traffic and the paid actors in traffic. And this is the most thing that I've been posting about on Instagram, all on. Mm. Okay, so yep, they come in the intersections. Where was I at? In front of you with some artificially with some cutoffs, where you constantly have people or cars cutting you off or almost hitting you. The perpetrators is unseen until he jumps out in front of you, right? With some artificially induced cutoff, the perpetrator is seen at a distance. You and the perpetrators are heading toward the same focal point. It may be a corner, a very small walkway, or a path that cannot accommodate both of you. They will adjust their timing and rhythm to yours so that they always meet you at that point, so that you will have to squeeze through, stop, or go around because of their deliberate adjustment of timing. The idea is to get your attention and to make you uncomfortable. If you're targeted, you may have foot and vehicular traffic rerouted through your street. Common practice is for vehicles to drive by screeching their tires, blowing their horns, playing loud music, revving their engines, and yelling as they drive by your house. You might also be followed by convoys of vehicles that have their high beams or during the day spotlights being shined in a targeted individual's window. That's another tactic. This is why I instantly notice all the bright lights. Like I've been noticed this shit before COVID. Like before they made us go in the house, nobody's lights was high beams. Now, and like what was that 2019? Now I after that every car is high beams. So this was done not only on the chosen ones but also on the United States. Like because when I started traveling, I started seeing it's not just in Maryland. This is a whole psyop on the United States, but I feel like it's going extra hard on the chosen, which is not many of us, because it would be way more people in an uproar than it would be gang stalkers. So, but then at the end of the day, we just learned that it takes one third of them to control the masses, because most of the masses is controllable. All right, so sensitivity programs, psycho spiritual sabotage. So this is psycho and spiritual, mental and spiritual. Cause stalking groups usually begin their campaigns with sensitivity programs. The goals of a sensitivity program are to get the person's attention and let them know they're being harassed. Anchor damaging emotions to common objects, sounds, so a target can be covertly harassed openly in public. These sensitivity programs are based on a science called neuro-linguistic programming. Okay. A stimulus which is linked to and triggers a psychological state is called an anchor in NLP. How are anchors created? First, by repetition. Secondly, and much more important, anchors can be set in a single instance if the emotion is strong and the timing is right. In extreme cases, an external stimulus can trigger a very powerful negative state. This is the realm of phobias. You can think of NLPs as a very powerful tool that can be used to produce rapid. So, if somebody, I would say, would associate this with spiders or something, and is you and all your friends, and you facing me and your friends talking to you, and I'm facing you, and I'm like, and then you start freaking out, and then I just turn around and act like nothing happened, and you're like, oh, and then your friend's like, did you, what's wrong with her, or something like that. Okay. A stimulus which is linked to triggers in the psychological state. Okay, so groups will take an object you sensitize and link it to another object. The idea appears to be keeping expanding the amount of objects you associate fear, anxiety, anger, or shame with. Anyone else observing this might think it is a little strange if someone would turn their alarm on and off a few times, but they write it off as an isolated strange incident. Since they have not had your previous experience, sensitization, with that sound and are not aware that it is a small part of a much larger harassment program, it would be difficult to explain what those beeps mean. In NLP, the process of copying an emotional state anchored to an existing trigger and transferring it to a new trigger is called chaining. So these people got this shit down pat. Anchors can be chained so that one leads to another. Each anchor provides a link to the chain and triggers the next one, just as the electrical impulse flows from nerve to nerve in our body. Street theater harassment. They going in. Harassment skits can be classified as a type of street theater that contain verbal and nonverbal harassment, threats, insults, intimidation, and violence conveyed overtly. Ugh, using themes, symbolism, or other medium. They may be carried out after a target has been sensitized. This harassment can be relayed with metaphors, verbal remarks, and symbolism using clothing or other items, insults or comments by strangers designed to evoke a paranoid reaction, as well as dirty looks and negative behavior from previously friendly neighbors is common among targets. This is what my son said was happening to him at school in Texas when he was in Texas. Some words used by perps in street theater harassment skits carry with them a particular weight to potential trigger an effect on a person's emotional state. Symbolism appears to be a big part of subliminal attacks. After a target has been sensitized, they can even be harassed, insulted, and threatened with symbolism using articles of clothing, newspapers, and other items, which is why Dante keep coming to my page using my deceased son's picture with the words death around the corner as the name of the page. And I mean, to me, you can literally just be any parent that lost a son. That's totally disrespect. Like, I don't feel like that's symbolism, but yeah, according to these cuckoos, that's symbolism. But to me, that's principle is disrespectful, is like spiritually fucking disrespectful. Yo, that motherfucker, them demons is mm. Just as body communication, social kinesis Connect, kinesics is used to harass a target. What the fuck? Clothing, especially using, hold up. So this is some words are this is called some words used by perps in street theater. They carry with them a particular weight to potentially trigger an effect on a person's emotional state. This is called meta communication. Meta messengers are suggestions hidden in a statement, perhaps a compliment. The tone, volume, and rhythm of a specific word in the sentence are changed so that the actual message is different than what the spoken words were. Symbolism appears to be a big part of subliminal attacks. After a target has been sensitized, they can even be harassed, insulted, and threatened with symbolism using articles of clothing, newspaper, and other items. Just as a body communication, social kinesics is used to harass targets, so too is symbolic communication. Symbolism can be used with articles of clothing, especially during a wave attack where you are blitzed by a crowd of pedestrians or vehicles. The symbolism used entails color, shape, and number. Certain perps, cab drivers, for example, will have the number 33 on their cab, making it visible to you, and be driving a red vehicle. Orange is used frequently, symbolizing light in the darkness or the life force, but can also be used to symbolize possessions by entities, marking the target as blasphemy or possessed. And I keep on seeing like government vehicles. I'll see Mercedes Benzes, um, vehicles like with the little slash across the eye. It's like certain types of vehicles that I see too. Louisiana type with the tag on it. Yeah. Okay, so where was I? Symbolism. Okay. Symbolism is also associated with what is known or believed by the cabal to be related to the target. An example is the target having been in certain locations and the cabal employing drivers with vehicles whose license plates are from those regions. Another example is where gangstalkers wear clothing that bears certain words, phrases, logos, or other symbols that is believed to have meaning for the targeted individual and to allow them to know that the cabal knows about them and they are being watched or to convey a related message to the target. Now, this has electronic direct harassment, direct energy weapons, and they got this mass and individual remote mind control via the mobile phone network and mobile phones. So it shows how a truck, an individual remote mind control via mobile psychotronic weapon carrier disguised as communications vehicles. They be always outside and then they blast into your home. Individual and group remote mind control via black helicopter carrying psycho electronic weapons. Brain area, bioelectronic resonance frequency, information induced through modulation, motor control cortex 10 hertz, motor impulse coordinates, auditory cortex 15 hertz, sound which bypasses the ears, visual cortex 25 hertz, images that bypasses the eyes. But hold up, we gotta wait for this dumbass 5 4 3 2 1. Then you have somatosensory 9 hertz, phantom touch sense. Mm. And then thought center, 20 hertz. Impose subconscious thoughts. So proof it exists and how it functions. What are microwave directed energy weapons? How do they work and how are they used? So this is the good part. Truth rises 144K. 3. Here we go. Precisely, modulated microwave radiation is used to influence brain function. Human behavior and reactions can be entirely controlled by using pulse modulation microwave EMF radiation. Pulse modulated microwaves are useful as the carrier for the mind control signals as they are able to pass through the skull, which is rather resistant to low level EMF microwave mind control electromagnetic fields. It was found that when microwaves were used to fire these signals at victims' brains, they experienced the moods, behavior, and the pathological states carried by the signals. This meant that by mimicking natural brain frequencies, the human brain could be controlled remotely by use of extremely low frequency broadcasts carried by pulse modulated microwave beams, ELF, pulse modulated microwave remote mind control technology. It is now possible to broadcast mind control commands directly into the brain by use of microwave beams. All that is needed is a catalog of every specific brain frequency for each mood, action, and thoughts. Particular so all you need is to mimic each mood, thought, and action of the brain. Particular excitation potential is then broadcast by pulse modulated microwave transmitter. This pulse modulated microwave beam has the ELF excitation potential frequency imprinted upon it. It was found that each behavioral set in humans had a distinctive frequency. There was one for anger, suicide, hysteria, serial killing, paranoia, lust, etc. So, non lethal microwave weapons to cause paranoia, you need 4.5 hertz. To cause depression and suicide, 6.6 hertz. Animals fall asleep, 8 hertz. 11 hertz, manic behavior, anger. 25 hertz, blindness if aimed at the head, heart attack if aimed at the chest. Other frequencies cause hysteria, trauma, lust, murder, and cancer, and may all be induced. So when you ask how back in the day they got all of those animals and giants and shit petrified, they probably use where is it? 8 hertz for animals to fall asleep and whatever else on the humans. Cabal operatives have sophisticated millimetry wave scanners to look through the victim's walls so they can see the targets in their homes. Pulse modulated microwaves are regularly directed at the victim's brains while other people in their homes are oblivious of what is going on. Some of these direct energy weapons are through the wall DEWs or TTW in nature. These devices or a similar one are currently being used on citizens. And honestly, that's probably what happened to young Pharaoh. I remember Pharaoh was going crazy out at his baby mother house, all that on YouTube, crazy stuff. And he just snapped. Like I just feel like for to have a sound mind like that, definitely some a multiplication of all this stuff. Some of the direct energy, wait a minute, cabal operatives, pulse modulated microwaves are regularly directed at the victim's brains, while other people in their homes are oblivious of what is going on. So remember when they said Bernie Mac just had a heart attack? That direct energy wave, that's probably what they use, the 25 hertz. Some of these direct energy weapons, DEWs, and honestly, I be feeling my heart speeding up at night and shit. Like Yeah, are through the wall technology. These devices or similar ones are currently being used on citizens in North America and other NATO nations. It is likely that the perpetrators are using radar millimeter wave technology similar to the ones used in airports to pinpoint a person's location in a building and assist with aiming other DEWs at people. That's crazy. And it's showing how like they do it to cause generator condenser flat antenna for radiating microwaves. They be having them in the back of their cars and it can go through your house. What particularly is intended through the use of microwave direct energy waves? Okay. We're gonna read a little more and then we're gonna stop for the night and we're gonna come back tomorrow. When firing microwave beams through walls at one specific target, every material in the way of the microwave beam attenuates or modifies the intensity and frequency of the beam. Since precise frequencies and intensities are needed for mind control, very sophisticated, this is annoying. Very sophisticated microwave arrays and computer programs had to be developed so that the microwave beam could be changed in response to the materials which lay between the target and the weapons. As the victim moved around the house to do this, the reflectivity and refractivity of the materials between victim and weapon had to be analyzed in real time and fed to a computer, which could change the microwave array in concert with the changing environment between victim and weapon as the target moved around his or her home. Secondly, there are to be an automatic interrupter if another person walked in front of the beam. The victim needed to be driven mad or disabled without anyone else being aware that he or she was being targeted. The technology for this was very complex, but eventually it was perfected. The microwave mind control. By beaming the excitation potential of a particular pathological mental state at your brain while you are at home, certain brain states, emotions can be induced. Microwave DEWs will produce dizziness, burning, headaches, eye problems, damaged nervous system and internal organs, heart attacks, and an inability to concentrate. A common microwave often can be used and turned into a DEW by modifying the appliance to operate with the door removed. It can then be positioned against the wall to attack someone on the other side. You can also build a weapon for a few $100s that will employ a more focused attack. That's insane. So people, by someone even writing this book, I'm pretty sure people know how to make these. That's crazy. And then it got a microwave oven has been converted into a weapon with an output of 800 watts of microwave energy. A large percentage of energy reaches the second room. As the radiation passes through sequential walls, the power level will drop but can remain at dangerous health levels. Even if the levels have been reduced by passing through three walls, people still can become negatively affected by continuous radiation exposure over longer periods. The intelligence operators can place sound and speech in the target victim's brain. This intercerebral hearing is used to drive the victim mad, as no one else can hear the voices transmitted into the brain of the target. Transmission of auditorial data directly into the target's can brain using microwave carrier beams is now commonly practiced. And what's so crazy, my son was saying that, and is even on some of his reports at Job Corps that he reported hearing voices in his head, and they never got him help. They never, like, first day he should have came back home, honestly, or saw somebody for help. They wrote him a referral, They never got him the help. This intercerebral, okay, transmission of auditory data directly into the target's brain using microwave carrier beams is now common practice. Instead of using excitation potentials, one uses a transducer to modify the spoken word into ELF audiograms that are then superimposed on the pulse modulated microwave beam, which causes the targeted individual to hear the voices transmitted into the brain. Uses as a clandestine assassination tool. This is probably what happened to a lot of those people that heard voices and went up and shot up schools and stuff. If the targeted individual needs to be made temporarily ill, microwave beams containing the signal the brain gives off during a vicious bout of flu can be fired at the victim. This causes the target to display all the symptoms of flu, even though they have not caught the virus. An example of this is how the 5G network is coordinated with the manufactured coronavirus or similar pandemics to dialectically engineer the cabal's plans through creative destruction. Can also use low level microwaves to cause mental and physical confusion that leads to illness. Beaming microwaves at victims makes them fatigue, damages their immune system, causes neurological damage that affects their thinking and ability to carry out tasks, induces premature aging, cancer, and cataracts. Heating the victim to death by microwave cooking is caused by increasing the field of intensity of the radiation to cause local hot spots in the victim's eyes and gallbladder, which have poor circulation, so cannot carry away the heat. Irradiating the optic nerve of the victim with the same signal that is sent to the brain by this nerve causes the nerve tissue to overload. In this way, subversives can be blinded by the intelligence weapons. I guess what was going to say. Gotta wait to the um can be blinded by the intelligence community without them knowing what has occurred. So it's showing people, with burns around their eyes and everything. We probably read the 17, 18, 19, 20. We'll read the 20. It's 33 pages. Neurological research has found that the brain has specific frequencies for each voluntary movement called preparatory sets. When you pick up an object, there is a specific preparatory set for this action. By firing at your chest, a microwave beam containing the ELF signals given off by the heart, this organ can be put into a chaotic state, the so-called heart attack. Paralysis can be induced by in the target by use of the method of broadcasting preparatory sets encoding in on microwave beams. A pulse modulated microwave beam carrying an ELF signal, which is identical to the one in the motor neuron center of the brain, is used to jam the victim's motor coordination. Synthetic telepathy. The latest advance in electronic mind control were discussed in my previous articles in Nexus, but for those who missed the ESP espionage, this equipment uses special types of microwave beams called MASERs. These are the laser equivalent of microwave beams. The maser beams have been used to develop something called synthetic telepathy. This is the ability to read people's minds from a distance. Electronic scanning of victims' brains by monitoring the electromagnetic emissions from people's brains and using among that's crazy. That is motherfucking intrusion and shit. Like reading people's mind. Like I wish the fuck I would choke your ass, come in my mind. I choke your ass out your body and you will never get back home to your body. Like why are you so invested in other people? Like this is the cringiest shit ever. This is the ability to read people's minds from a distance. Electromagnetic scanning of victims' brains by monitoring the electromagnetic emissions from people's brains and using amongst other things. The brain waves to read the victim's subvocalized thoughts. Synthetic telepathy detects the 15 hertz 5 milliwatt auditory cortex brain emissions that are linked with the excitation potentials in the brain associated with subvocalized thought. New technology involving low frequency microwaves and RF has enabled devices to be built which can scan through walls and look inside people's bodies like x-rays. This enables security personnel to see a target in his home and track him throughout the house. Further to his being able to see inside the victim's head would allow computer controlled targeting of specific brain centers in the victim's brain, even when he was walking around the house. A scan of the specific brain emissions given off when the victim subvocalizes using an array of pulse frequency masers fired at the specific brain centers of the subversive while he resides in his own home enables the victim to be scanned. By firing an array of ELF pulse modulated masers, which scan up and down the window of the frequency emissions given off by subvocalized thought, interference effects can be measured in the maser beam. The victim's elf brain. This is that shit is crazy. It's so crazy. Like, where is it? The victim's elf brain emissions will interact constructively or destructively with the pulse frequency maser carrying ELF in the ELF window associated with the subvocalized thoughts. If we fire an array of pulse masers, which are out of phase with each other, extraneous noise can be filtered out in the digital domain. Since the convergent ELF modulated masers are being affected by the low level emissions in the victim's brain, the shifts in the ELF pulse signal going into the subversive's brain can be detected. A simplified version of this would be the laser beam shown at the window of the person that is being bugged. The vibrations in the window can the vibrations in the window cause modulations in the laser that can be converted into electrical signals and hence into sound. In this way, the subvocalized thoughts in the victim's brain can be read, having already built up a library of excitation potential signatures for differing words and groupings of words. A sophisticated computer can begin to decode the emissions signatures into word streams. In this way, the the analyze hold up. In this way, the subvocalized thoughts of the victim can be stored in the memory of a supercomputer and analyzed to give a readout of what the target is thinking. Using ELF autograms carried by a single pulse modulated maser, subvocalized thoughts can be placed in the victim's brain. This enables cabal, synthetic telepathy, operators the ability to enter into conversations with the subversive to drive him back. This is so fucking crazy. So they literally are using technology to go in and read each of your brain waves that corresponds to different word coding that they've basically built up an account of through monitoring you invasively So the synthetic telepathy operators, the ability to enter into conversations with the subversive to drive him mad or to bring up keywords which will get the victim thinking about the information they wish to find. Visual cortex excitation potentials can also be broadcast into the victim's brain so that illusory images can be projected into their brain to drive them mad or to program them to commit suicide. Get the fuck down! Don't make me have to talk to you again. Okay, so then it has a RFID implant, remote neural monitoring thing. It's like a graph or whatever, and it's showing you like how all the stuff works. Crazy stuff. This is 20. So silent sound, how direct DEWs work. We're just gonna read just a little bit of this, and then we'll come back tomorrow with the rest. Okay. So it really goes in on direct energy waves. So if you did not know about all of this stuff with the direct energy waves, it's going in depth. Okay, so a steady tone near the high end of the hearing range, say 15,000 hertz. Hypnotist voice varying from, say, 300 hertz to 4,000 hertz. Output is now more or less. I didn't even. Okay. So, secondly, the police have been granted the exclusive range. Dr. Ross Addy found that by using 0.75 megawatts cm squared intensity of pulse modulated microwave at a frequency of 450 megahertz, it was discovered that an ELF modulation could be used to control all aspects of human behavior. Okay. And we'll pick up tomorrow with page 21. It only goes to 33, but so far, everything that I've experienced and I'm experiencing now is happening. Um, and, you know, at the end of the day, I do not want this to happen to me. I want it to stop. I will not be a victim of whatever this is because it's something that I didn't sign up for, you know, just because other people have infatuations with me or whatever it is, that don't mean I'm supposed to suffer for it. So I'm going to continue to educate people until they listen. It's the same way, you know, I was getting traction before these people found my page and started harassing me and fooling with my numbers and YouTube and social media. Like the way the from what I'm learning, you know, I really feel don't put anything past the platforms. I don't put nothing past anything because think about it. Google is already in scandals. YouTube is definitely a part of Google. You go to report something about YouTube to Google, they circle you right back to Google. I mean, to YouTube. You try to report something on YouTube, they circle you back to information that don't contain to what you're going through. So it's like, okay, let's be honest. You guys have had business on a platform with millions and millions of users, and I'm pretty fucking sure that stories of gang stalking, harassment, there's been victims, there's been people going to jail for this, people getting killed, committing suicide, all of these things, and these very same platforms act green as fuck to everything. And it's like, how can that happen? How can that be? It's because it fits with the agenda of the world. This is why when I tell and I read about, you know, what this all is, it gives you two different instances: what's happening on the grander scheme of the world and what's happening on an individual's life. And it goes to show you how a person like me can have the same thing that a celebrity can have. We've seen how many people get blacklisted or blackballed from Hollywood. That's the same thing. So imagine the things that they're going through. Their bank accounts being, same type of shit. And most of the time is because you didn't want to go with the program. Now I know that growing up in the family that I did, some weird shit was going on from when I was a kid. Letters I used to get from people that used to watch me from when I did, like, how the fuck did you even know I was living here? First of all. So I knew I've been being watched by a higher society since I was 14, since a little bit before that. But then when I don't know, like, did they come and like? I'm just confused as to how the network grew. You know what I'm saying? I didn't never think that. I thought I just felt like those letters, all of that stuff was like something different. Maybe these people just went away. Maybe they didn't. I don't think they ever did. They probably just created the web and the network around my life. Luckily, I don't forget shit. Luckily, my memory used to be better. I used to have a photographic memory. But let me tell you something. Praying mantis, they used to watch me a lot. I don't know. Maybe they protect me. Maybe they was gathering information. You know about the tall grays. They used to watch me a lot as a kid. All I know is when they say psycho spiritual, I know that, these tactics, this organized crime thing is definitely a mental, spiritual type of thing, and it definitely has something to do with spiritual warfare because I haven't even obtained, I don't think $100,000 in my 40-year-old life. I don't know, maybe I did, but it never been in my hand all at once. And it's people that probably touch that and more, but I'm the one that they coming for. I'm the one that they invest in. They're rich and balled out and famous and African and black and white and Latina and all these other people that come for me investing their time into little old me. So, I have to be the person that is showing these people different. Because at the end of the day, I know none of them cabal people could ever go through what I went through, which is why they need something to power them up to make a demon, demon juice to make them feel powerful or whatever. Never, never, never. And then you probably get in the space and you possessed with the demon and you scared of the demon. You would never. Anyway, I just want, people to have patience with me. Um, And trust me, I'm not talking to nobody I don't like. I don't want to talk to nobody I don't like. I'm tired of that. I'm trying to move past that. Have patience with my creativity. I just know by now we should be laughing. We should be laughing now, joking. Like we should be like on the next brink in my creativity level. Like, but because this is another thing that is happening, I'm growing, but then I have to stop for this bullshit. And it's like I'm tired of that. And this is what's making me move towards stopping it. I'm not stopping no more of what I want to do for myself and my life for the next person to feel good or whatever the fuck it is. I'm not. I'm sorry. So at the end of the day, you know, I gotta be smart with what I post because these weak bitches are reporting everything they can. Like they were like I one thing that I just want to bring to people's attention. What everything that's going on. I have like what 3 pages, 3 or 4 different TikTok pages. 3 of them I just started just in case my one page is backed up. And I rarely go on them because I don't really have traction on them. I don't use them to spy on nobody. I don't give a fuck about that. It's just the weirdest shit ever. I don't. Right? So I just don't understand. I don't understand how even to be in the cabal, like I would feel funny about being so weird. Like, why do I? It's just not my personality to want to know what the next person is doing so much. Like, I don't give a fuck. I really don't. So I don't even feel like that's a powerful flex to me. Like to want to know everything. To me, I feel like a person that want to know shit is weak. Like they would not be able to navigate any system on their own, being faith based. They need to know everything because they don't want to make mistakes. Because and truly, that's how we learn. That's those battle wounds is how we get back up. How we prepare for the next thing. How we get real detailed with learning our craft and become a master. But just to sit up there and be nosy or try to spy and collect all the information so you could just be perfect. That's some bullshit. Like you're not getting your hands dirty, right? You don't have no experience. You just have the knowledge of it. And see, a lot of people just be having, going around stealing, don't have no knowledge of it. They don't have a reason for it. They just want to do it because they see somebody else doing it, and it's a flop. It's a fail. And I feel like all of these groups that band together just so that they can suppress another person, regardless of how powerful it might seem or make you feel, whatever, that shit is a fail, it's a flop, it's bullshit, it's the weakest shit that I've known in my life. It's the weakest shit like that I've known in my life. Like even in middle school, a motherfucker have a problem, they walk up on you, like, you know what I'm saying? They duke it out. You might get a little lump, a bump, bloody nose, whatever, and you let it see another day, right? I've never like everybody that I've had. I just don't even understand obsession. I don't understand that because somebody reject me, I okay, I'm off, like I'm gone. Somebody don't like me, you ain't got to tell me twice. I'd have told these people, like probably the person looking at me right motherfucking now, I don't like you. Like I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to know you. I don't want you in my eyesight. Like I don't stop looking at my page so I can see your peasy fucking face. Like I don't want to see you for. I want it to be like 20 years to go by and be like, damn, I ain't even said that name or thought about them in years. Like that is how I want that to be. But when you have people that's like little ticks that's just sucking on you everywhere you go, like that shit right there, I don't get that. Especially when you tell a motherfucker you don't like them. You don't you're unwanted, you're unselected. I prefer you not to, like all that shit. Get the fuck away. And honestly, I don't understand a person that want to be around your space even more. It's weird. And it's like I'm looking back, I'm seeing people from middle school, I'm seeing people from high school, I'm seeing people from my old jobs, from my old neighbors, people that I don't even like. I'm like, why? Who? Like, is somebody? I'm thinking that my harassers have made fake pages of me and maybe went around harassing them. It's to that point. Like, I'm not understanding why is people from fucking fifth grade, third grade, like, really, y'all? What do y'all want? Like, what's really going on around here? Right? It's weird to me because I'm not checking for none of them motherfuckers. In fact, I deleted my old Facebook to get rid of everybody I knew, to get people that I didn't know, because I figured that people I don't know won't be much of haters because they don't know me. I seem to get more support from people who don't know me than people who do know me, which is the reason why all this shit, this weird, all that shit is going on in my life. And there's a lot of people that know what's going on, but nobody telling me. They just love the fact that I'm going through it. Like people love the fact that they can see me in a hot seat or whatever. Like is weird as fuck. And this is everywhere, every platform. Like, you'll have people that's really like they know themselves, they confident, they not worried about competition. They will come out, they will support me. But the majority of people are low vibrational, gossiping hags that just like to sit down and talk about people and the next person popped in and this, that, or the other. And then they love to fucking hate. So The hate to create a hate train amongst people that's already like that is not hard to do. You know, it's not fucking hard to do. Look how many people would turn on a celebrity if enough. Like, all right, for instance, 50 Cent starts hate with a lot of people. Everybody dick rides the fuck out of that man. And he's been wrong standing on so many motherfucking principles that I'm disgusted. Like, I don't like him. Like, his music is okay, but I will skip past a 50 Cent post any motherfucking day because that man is fucked up. Like, he laughing at people death, all types of shit. And it's many people that I feel like have been bullied. That's probably bitch niggas. That I didn't see niggas like, yeah, 50, he on the street, he this, he that. What the fuck did that matter? Like, if you fucked up as an individual, how do you even have street clout? Like, 50, like 50 years old or 55, and y'all still riding this nigga dick. This shit is weird. People don't stand on principle. People fake and weak. People just love to go with the majority, and the majority need mental health. Like I'm telling you, it's a lot of people that need mental health. This is why it's easy for them to get manipulated by direct energy waves. They don't understand when this is happening, and they're not taking accountability of certain things that's reality. Like, how are you more invested in things that's happening in Hollywood than in your motherfucking city and state? In your right here in your neighborhood. How are you more invested in this shit? People is so invested in the wrong shit. I don't even know what to say. You feel me? I really don't. So invested in the wrong shit. But I'm getting creeped out. I don't like people that I might not like looking at me. Ain't no telling what the fuck the weirdos doing. And for real, the day has been a day where I've been out my way. You know, I've been out the way. I didn't even get on YouTube today this morning so the fucking weird odd bunch can get and harass me. And yet Fonte's husband that she brags on all my life, my husband. Why is his weird ass on my page looking in my fucking TikTok? Like, soon as I get up there, Tay Chosen is right there. Like, I'm waiting for this nigga to get for TikTok to do something. That's the only reason why I did not block this page. Soon as I get up there, Tay Chosen, like, don't nobody want to see that nigga. Like, what the fuck? Why? Like, how could you brag on somebody like that that's so invested in somebody that you grew up with? Like, that's weird to me. Like, both of y'all probably gay in that house. Ain't no telling what the fuck y'all doing. But anyway, let me go because clearly that could be one of them just watching me beating off of some weird shit. I hate y'all. Like, ugh, ugh, ugh.